take you to EcoBank headquarters conference room, because that's where the conference.
Everybody seems positive about it, because there's been several regulations and directions of how Ghana's financial architecture should be built. On that note, I would like to welcome you once again to today's program. We are live on Joy News. We're also live on Joy 99.7 FM across all our social media platforms and our affiliates as well. And so we're going straight to acknowledge the maker of life, our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. So let us take a short prayer. Shall we please close our eyes? Heavenly Father, we thank you this morning. We acknowledge you as our Lord and Savior. We thank you as we began this important discussion. We ask that you take control, establish your presence, and grant us the insight and understanding that whoever is watching us, wherever they are, Father, may this day be a day of blessing in their life. These are many blessings we ask. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Wonderful. Now, I would like to, first of all, acknowledge the one of our sponsors for today's event, in whose auditorium we are here in Accra. And this is the headquarters of EcoBank. So anywhere you are, if you want to know the place, come to Rich. And surely they have a fantastic edifice here. So to welcome us to the maiden edition of today's event is the Executive Director for Corporate and Investment Banking, and the person of Mr. Henry Ampon. Please, with a round of applause, help me welcome him. So yes, we're going to have the speech shortly. So you're still live on Joy News, also live on Joy 99.7 FM, and this is the maiden edition of the Financial Dialogue Series. And we have the next voice you're going to hear as of now is the voice of the Executive Director of Corporate and Investment Banking, Mr. Henry Ampon.
Very much. Good morning, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I would like to especially acknowledge the presence of Mr. Shaibu Haruna, the CEO of Mobile Money Limited, Akosua Blay, the CEO of, the Chief Business Officer of GIPS, and the Managing Director of a Pan-African Savings and Loans Company. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and colleagues from EcoBank, on behalf of the Managing Director, I would like to welcome you all to this inaugural edition of the EcoBank JoyBusiness Financial Dialogue Series under the theme, Driving Financial Inclusion Through Digital Transformation, Unlocking Access, Empowering Communities, Transforming Economies. This theme could not be more relevant. Across Africa, technology is reshaping how people live, work, and transact. Digital innovation is no longer simply changing banking. It is indeed redefining access to economic opportunity. It is enabling individuals, businesses, communities to participate more actively in the formal economy, regardless of geography, income levels, and background. At EcoBank, we have long believed that financial inclusion and digital transformation are inseparable. In fact, they sit at the heart of our purpose as a Pan-African bank. For decades, EcoBank has been committed to bringing banking closer to customers, not the other way around. We recognized early that the future of banking will be digital, accessible, and borderless. And we have invested consistently in innovation to make that future a reality. Today, EcoBank serves millions of customers across more than 35 African countries through one of the through one of the continent's most integrated financial services platforms. Our commitment to financial inclusion is not recent. It has been a deliberate strategic priority for many years. Long before digital onboarding became commonplace, EcoBank introduced the Express account, enabling customers to open a bank account directly from their mobile phones without visiting a branch. At a time when access to financial services was still constrained by physical infrastructure, we recognized that a mobile phone will become one of the most powerful tools for expanding financial inclusion. We have continued to build on that vision through mobile banking, USSD services, and digital self-service capabilities that ensure banking remains accessible regardless of device type, location, or level of digital sophistication. Today, more than 800,000 customers are active users of the EcoBank mobile app in Ghana, reflecting both the growing confidence in digital financial services and the trust customers place in our platforms. We have also continued to redefine convenience and accessibility through innovations such as cardless withdrawals using e-tokens across our ATM network nationwide, enabling customers to access cash securely without a physical card. Through our mobile app, customers can also instantly create virtual cards for safer and more convenient online transactions. What is particularly important in these innovations is that they were not designed merely to digital banking. Indeed, they were designed to broaden participation. They provide multiple pathways into the formal financial system, serving first-time banking customers, digitally active customers, entrepreneurs, and businesses, and enabling them to engage more deeply with the opportunities of a modern digital economy. In our view, this is what financial inclusion means in practice. Not simply connecting people to a bank account, but much more importantly, empowering them to participate more fully in economic life. The progress Ghana has made in digital finance and financial inclusion is one of the Africa's strongest success stories. EcoBank, as a Pan-African bank, is proud to have contributed to this journey, working alongside major stakeholders such as Bank of Ghana, regulators, telecommunication partners, fintechs, and other industry stakeholders. Yet, despite progress made, the journey towards full financial inclusion is not far from complete. Millions of Africans remain underserved by formal financial services. Challenges related to affordability, digital literacy, trust, and infrastructure continue to exist. Addressing these challenges requires more than technology alone. It requires active collaboration between all partners, and it also requires open dialogue. More so, it requires shared commitment to innovation that serves people, not just systems. That is precisely why we have collaborated with our major collaborator, Joy FM, to establish this platform. The EcoBank JoyBusiness Financial Dialogue Series is intended to be more than an event. It is a thought leadership platform designed to facilitate meaningful conversations on issues shaping the future of finance, business, and economic development in Ghana and indeed across Africa. Through open dialogue, diverse perspectives, and practical insights, EcoBank hopes to contribute to solutions that drive sustainable growth and greater financial inclusion in this country and beyond. This morning's discussion will explore some of the most important questions facing our industry. How do we accelerate access for the unbanked and underbanked? How do we leverage mobile money, agency banking, and digital payment to drive inclusion at scale? How do we build trust, resilience, and security in an increasing digital financial ecosystem? We are honored to be joined by distinguished speakers, policymakers, regulators, and industry practitioners whose expertise will help advance these conversations. I would like to express our sincere appreciation to Joy Business and the Multimedia Group for partnering with us to launch this important initiative. Ladies and gentlemen, the future of financial services in Africa will not be determined by how much technology we will deploy, but by how many lives the technology transforms. Our responsibility as an industry leader is to ensure that innovation translates into inclusion, that access translates into opportunity, and that digital transformation delivers tangible economic progress for individuals, businesses, and communities. That is the conversation we are here to advance today. Thank you for joining us, and I wish all an engaging, insightful, and impactful dialogue. Thank you.
What a way to open the show. Thank you so much, Mr. Henry Ampom, Executive Director for Corporate and Investment Banking. Please, you can do it better for him once again. Indeed, today's conversation is still happening. We'll be delving deeper to really understand the real impact beyond just opening an account to ensuring that businesses, individuals are financially empowered. Once again, to help us do us the honors of giving us clarity about why we're here and understanding the purpose of today's gathering, help me welcome the head of Joy Business at the Multimedia Group, Mr. Nanabeyi Brown Ado, with a round of applause, please.
Thank you. Good morning once again. I'm happy to be here, and I consider this event very, very useful. We want to acknowledge all the important guests, and I want to go straight to my discussion with you. Distinguished invited guests, representatives of the various financial services industry, members of the business community, ladies and gentlemen, today is significant not simply because we are hosting another business event, but because we are starting what we hope to become Ghana's premier thought leadership platform on banking, finance, and economic development. The EcoBank JoyBusiness Financial Dialogue Series has been conceived with a simple but important objective, which is to bring people together to shape our financial ecosystem, to discuss the issues that matter most, challenge conventional thinking, identify practical solutions that can strengthen Ghana's economy. At Joy Business, this is exactly what we believe our role should be. Our mandate goes beyond just reporting markets, budget, corporate announcement. We exist to produce trusted and insightful business journalism that helps people understand the economy, empower businesses to make informed decisions, and contribute meaningfully to national development. But we also recognize that journalism has another responsibility. It must convene, it must connect, it must explain, and where possible, it must shape solutions. The most respected business media organizations around the world do not simply report what happened yesterday or a few minutes ago. They create platforms that influence what happens tomorrow. That is the philosophy behind this dialogue series. Our aspiration for the EcoBank JoyBusiness Financial Dialogue Series is to become the platform where regulators, policymakers, financial institutions, fintech innovators, businesses, investors, development partners come together to exchange ideas, build partnership, and influence policy that advance Ghana's economic transformation. And we are delighted that EcoBank shares this vision. EcoBank has consistently demonstrated leadership in digital banking, innovation, and financial inclusion across Africa. This partnership therefore brings together two institutions with a common belief that meaningful conversations can shape meaningful change. Ladies and gentlemen, the choice of today's theme could not be more relevant. Digital transformation is redefining financial services across the world. In Ghana, mobile money has revolutionized payments. Digital banking is making financial services more convenient. And I must say that I don't remember the last time I stepped foot in my branch. It's been like 6 years. I've never visited any of the branches that I belong to, because just at the click of the button of my mobile phone, I can do everything. Many micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises still struggle to access appropriate financial products. Digital literacy gap persists, and while cyber fraud and online security continue to undermine public confidence. And I don't know how many of you have been defrauded before. And with all that I think that I know, I have had a chance of being defrauded. I decided to buy pizza for my son, and during our day, and I waited and waited and waited, and the pizza never came. And the people explained the processes and everything to me perfectly. And so I believe that you and I agree that even though this digital transformation is really taking shape, we still have due concerns. And I believe that this platform would offer us opportunity to think together on how we can really address these concerns that undermine public confidence in digital transformation, the digital transformation move. So these are not just challenges that any single institution can solve. They require collaboration, they require innovation, they require informed dialogue. That is why today's conversation is important. We are hoping that we'll examine how digital banking can reach underserved communities, how mobile money and digital payment system can accelerate financial inclusion, and how cybersecurity and consumer protection can strengthen the trust in Ghana's digital financial ecosystem. Most importantly, we hope that these discussions will move beyond identifying problems to generating practical recommendations that policymakers, regulators, and the industry can act upon. As JoyBusiness, this is the value we seek to create. We want to be the first point of reference whenever business discussions are being made. We want to be the trusted platform where businesses find opportunities, policymakers engage constructively, industry leaders collaborate on solutions, and above all, we want our journalism to have impact, not only by informing the public, but by helping to shape a stronger, more competitive, and more inclusive economy. On behalf of the JoyBusiness and the Multimedia Group, I express our sincere appreciation to the EcoBank Ghana PLC for partnering us to establish this platform. We thank our distinguished keynote speaker, our panelists, and every participant for contributing your expertise and experience to what we will hope to become an enduring national institution. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish all of us a productive and engaging dialogue. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Nana Bengi, the head of JoyBusiness. Please, a round of applause for him once again. Before we hear from our keynote speaker, we have a very brief documentary which basically captures, it's a compelling documentary which highlights how digital financial services are transforming the lives of market women, farmers, entrepreneurs, and small businesses while exposing the barriers that continue to limit financial inclusion. So I will kindly entreat that we fix our eyes to the screens in just a few minutes as we watch this compelling documentary right now.
Many businesses say digital banking has become central to their daily operations, replacing frequent trips to banking halls with instant payments, salary processing, and customer transactions. CEO of Aweyame, operators of Memo shopping malls across the country, Mercy Adochim, says her business is increasingly relying on mobile banking to process salaries, supplier payments, and customer transactions, significantly reducing the need for physical banking.
We use mobile banking a lot in the office because it makes work easier, faster. It helps us to handle less cash. We do a lot with EcoBank. Our payments, a lot, our salary. We have a lot to do if it comes to mobile banking. That we don't go to the bank. I don't even go to the bank myself. They are doing so well because it makes everything so easy for us to move, especially in the office. We used to go to the bank, but now we don't go like before. We sit in the office, we make all our transactions, payment. Customers even pay through the mobile app.
Although businesses acknowledge that digital banking has improved operational efficiency and reduced cash handling risks, General Manager of Aweyame, Dora Wate, believes banks must simplify their mobile applications and intensify public education to encourage more people to adopt banking apps instead of relying solely on mobile money.
Handling cash these days is very risky, so using mobile app is very convenient for our customers and they use it a lot. Digital banking has really helped us a lot. It's fast, it's very convenient. It helps us also, we can say our money is secured. Cashiers don't handle our cash directly. Every transaction goes straight into our bank account, so we are very okay using the mobile banking. I think we need education. Education is the key. When they start educating the public on the advantages of using mobile app, we would be interested. Some of us, we've not even heard it before. Some of us, we see people doing it, but we don't know what goes into it. So they can go around shopping malls, mounting up stands, doing adverts, telling people about the advantages they would get when they use mobile app. They can even tell us how safe our monies will be, how secured our transactions will be. And with that, I'm sure a lot of people will be interested.
Finance professionals also want financial institutions to focus on improving customer support and resolving transaction failures more quickly, saying occasional system downtime disrupts business operations.
It's not even as it's about the customers. When there is a downtime, there are occasional downtimes that interrupts the transactions that we do here. And I believe that's our biggest frustration. I believe it's about how quickly we can resolve issues. So if a feature is added where we would be able to resolve issues like system downtime, transactions on hold and all that faster, I think it's going to help us.
Customers are also embracing digital banking as electronic payments become the preferred option for shopping and everyday purchases, reducing the need to carry cash.
I do have a mobile banking app. That's EcoBank. I have an EcoBank card and I use it for shopping. Anytime I go out to shop, that's what I use. And I use it because it's very convenient. I am someone who doesn't keep cash mostly on me, so the card really helps me when I go out.
Business operators say digital finance is improving financial discipline and business efficiency, but insist stronger user education and enhanced fraud prevention measures are needed as digital transactions continue to grow. While users describe banking apps as a major time saver, they say scheduled maintenance and service interruptions can leave businesses unable to complete urgent transactions.
Generally, I use these banking apps on my phone, and also with the mobile money carrier, I use mobile money apps on our phone. Generally, I think with the financial digitalization model, or however you call it, I think it's good because with cash, you have disposable cash on yourself, and every time you feel like exposing or giving the cash out. But with the apps, you are controlled and given a second thought to think about how to spend your money wisely. The people who use it have to be trained a lot, because certain sectors of the apps, if you are not an expert, you can't use those apps, or if you haven't been taught by an expert what those apps can do, especially with the banking apps. Yes, transfers are much easier, but I think there should be more training to allow people to use the apps.
I normally use the bank app. Since I'm a businessman, I normally do transactions and then withdrawals as well. But there are times that you would want to do transactions or withdrawals, and then they'll tell you they are maintaining something on the app. They have some maintenance that's going on, and it will be done in, like, let's say in 24 hours or 72 hours or 48 hours or whatever, and then you'll be stranded because you have no other option to, like, make your transactions or your deposits. So, like, that's the only challenge I face when I use the bank app. I find it very, very convenient. It's okay. I mean, it's fine because it has saved us a lot of stress, because at first you have to, like, walk to the bank, queue up, be in a long queue before you get your transactions done or your deposits done. But since the bank apps came, or these financial apps came, that saved us a lot of time. So I think it's very, very convenient.
Some users also say digital payments have become part of their daily lives. Although network challenges occasionally interrupt transactions, they believe continuous public awareness has helped reduce fraud.
To me, it's easy and reliable, because sometimes if you holding cash on you, you might maybe misplace it and stuff. Sometimes if the network is bad, that's the only challenges that I normally face. But apart from that, everything is fine. I've been educated about the what was the name? This mobile money app fraud and stuff. So I know a lot about it. So I'm very conscious whenever I'm doing my transactions. So I don't have any challenges with that. I mean, ever since I was introduced to these things, I think it has helped me a lot. So since then, I don't intend to do any transaction with cash or whatever.
Businesses and consumers are calling on banks to improve service reliability, simplify digital platforms, strengthen cybersecurity, and expand public education to accelerate financial inclusion and support economic growth.
Hello. So this video indeed captures the real reaction from the marketplace in regards to financial inclusion, how customers have been responding to your services. I'm sure various stakeholders here are guided. Indeed, this is how the market has felt so far in using your app. I've been a lover of, first-time lover since I was campus when EcoBank came to me. So I've been using one account all these years, thanks to EcoBank. So to catch them young, please go to the senior high schools, go to the secondary schools. If you are your competitor is also here, go to them. But I always say, go for EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank. A round of applause to yourself also here. We are also live on Joy News and also live on Joy 99.7 FM. If you're watching us anywhere, this is the EcoBank Joy Business Financial Dialogue Series. And the topic which we are having this afternoon is driving financial inclusion through digital transformation, unlocking access, empowering communities, and transforming economies. Indeed, this is a time where we hear from our main speaker for today. Hearing from the regulator gives you some kind of prospect about what to anticipate if you're a key player in the sector. And for that, we are grateful to have representing the governor of the Bank of Ghana in the person of Mr. Oreku Osari. He's the head of FinTech and Innovation Department at the Bank of Ghana. Please, with a round of applause, help me welcome him.
Thank you. Good morning. This is home. I'm sure a lot of you know why I'm saying this. When I walked in, I noticed that the Wi-Fi was trying to connect me back. So I felt that, no, I'll probably be going against ISO rules, right? So I declined it. The governor sends his greetings, and he really wanted to be here. There's been some prior commitment that he was trying to move, but it didn't happen. You notice I walked in slightly late. So he actually called me to say, Rick, are you there? Because I really wanted to be there. I don't want to disappoint them. This is something that he's really passionate about. And he believes that being part of this is a very good thing to do to at least ensure that as a regulator we are moving together. Good morning, former colleagues. Let me just do this on behalf of the governor, the board and management of EcoBank Ghana PLC. I see my brother Nana. I call him Nana. The management of Multimedia Group and Joy Business, representatives of governments, heads of financial institutions, development partners, ladies and gentlemen,
Good morning again. It is a pleasure to join you at this inaugural session of the Dialogue Series. Let me commend the organizers, EcoBank and Multimedia Group, for creating this platform for open dialogue on the future of banking, finance, and economic development in Ghana and in Africa. The theme of this inaugural dialogue, driving financial inclusion through digital transformation, it really captures what we should believe is the next frontier. Indeed, Ghana's financial sector has undergone significant transformation, with digital innovation driving notable gains in financial inclusion. As the video was showing and mobile money popped up, my heart, I skipped a bit, because this is something that I was personally passionate about, and my colleagues will tell you, I was like, oh, this is really a deja vu, you know. Ladies and gentlemen, financial inclusion continues to advance globally, driven by digital connectivity. The World Bank's Global Findex 2025 shows that 79% of adults worldwide own an account, up from 74% in 2021. In low and middle income economies, account ownership has reached 75%, including 78% with a smartphone, whilst women accounts ownership in these economies has nearly doubled since 2011 to 73%. This tells a story. That of men is really increasing at a decreasing rate, and our ladies are really accelerating. So in solving for some of these problems, there's a lot of focus on how do we bring ladies along as well. Mobile technology has been critical to this progress. Today, 86% of adults worldwide own a mobile phone, while digital merchant payments in low and middle income economies have risen from 35% in 2021 to 42% in 2024. This is a remarkable achievement. Sub-Saharan Africa remains the global center of mobile money-led financial inclusion, and the continent's model of mobile money and agent banking are now being studied and adopted around the world. If there's anything that I'm really proud of as an African, it's our ownership of mobile money. I have a colleague who usually will say that East Africa is the mecca of mobile money. And that story is actually transcending across Africa. And even West, led by Ghana, is really pushing to the next frontier. Ghana has been at the forefront of this transformation. In June alone, this year, Ghanaians moved close to 500 billion cedis. Anytime I highlight some of these figures, I just want to check whether statistically it's real. But when you go deep into the data, indeed it is. I think as Ghanaians, we deserve to be really proud. And I think we deserve to give ourselves a round of applause. This amount, or this figure, actually went through 954 million unique transactions. And this is supported by 26 million active customers, and went through 546,000 active agents. And I'm really looking at Shaibu, who is the CEO of MMFL, as being a major player in this space. Thank you, Shaibu, and your team. Ladies and gentlemen, access is, however, not the same as inclusion. 85 million registered mobile money accounts, only 25 million were active in June. That's roughly 1 to 3. And that is actually the best average globally, for you to have 1 out of 3 wallets being active. And this should tell you that Ghana has a unique story. An account is the beginning of inclusion, not its completion. The real test is whether it improves people's financial health. Somewhere in Ghana this morning, a lady is opening a business. She has a mobile money wallet for years. Money comes in, money goes out. Her customers pay with it, and she pays her suppliers with it. By every measure, she's financially included. Yet, she keeps her savings in cash. She has no insurance for her stock, borrows on terms she does not even understand. And if she stops working tomorrow, her income also stops. She's not just one individual. She's part of a statistic. This is the financial inclusion gap we must now bridge. Payments and accounts have expanded, indeed, and they have. As I mentioned, at times one of the figures that I even go through, I mention, I need to go back and double check, but they are real. But the products that turn access into lasting financial security have not kept the pace. Savings, responsible credit, insurance, and pensions. Women, informal sector, rural communities, pensions with persons with disability, and micro, small, and medium enterprise remains underserved. A financial system that reaches the majority but leaves the most vulnerable behind cannot yet call itself fully inclusive. And then let me just repeat that part. A financial system that reaches the majority but leaves the most vulnerable behind cannot yet call itself fully inclusive. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a lot of work to do to move from financial inclusion or financial access to financial health. This is not only a question of inclusion, it is a question of growth. Economies become wealthier when savings become investment. Investment becomes enterprise, and enterprise creates jobs. A financial system that mobilizes savings but fails to channel them into productive investment weakens growth and transmission of monetary policy. Financial inclusion is therefore not a social program alongside our mandate. It is part of it, and achieving that outcome will require enabling innovation, delivering impactful financial services, and protecting trust. Let me begin with the first priority. Innovation is changing how financial services are delivered, but innovation alone does not guarantee better financial outcomes. The opportunity before us is to ensure that technology helps people save more securely, borrow more responsibly, invest more confidently, and build greater financial resilience. The bank's role is to create the conditions for innovation to flourish. That is why we are advancing open banking to customers so that they can securely consent to the shared financial data they already generate. In a digital economy, every transaction leaves a record, and that is very key. Where we are moving towards, data is becoming everything. When that record can be used responsibly, businesses become bankable, not because they have changed, but because they can finally be seen. It is also why we are modernizing our regulatory framework to keep pace with innovation through instruments such as our Directive for Digital Credit Service Providers, where we establish clear standards for responsible digital lending, transparency, consumer protection, and market conduct. Our objective is to create an environment where innovation can scale because customers can trust it. The conditions for that lending are also improving. For much of the past decade, lending to government paid better, paid faster, carried less risk than lending to a business. That is really now changing. I don't know whether I should go. That is really now changing, ladies and gentlemen. We observe from banks' monetary net claims on government exceeded claims on the private sector by more than 20 billion cedis. By June this year, the gap had narrowed.
All right, we apologize for the technical hitches. It's just being addressed right about now. Yeah, so whilst we are here listening to the address, we still want to acknowledge you that you're still live on Joy News as of now, also live on Joy FM 99.7 FM. We're trying as much as possible to bring you this discussion, which is critical for the sector and its implication and its impact as well on small and medium-scale enterprises, including individuals and the access to data going forward. So we go back to the interaction, and indeed, the next person you're going to hear continuing this address is Mr. Reku.
Sorry for the glitch. Let me just take it from the top. It is also why we are modernizing our regulatory framework to keep pace with innovation. Through instruments such as the Directive for Digital Credit Service Providers, we are establishing clear standards for responsible digital lending, transparency, consumer protection, and market conduct. Our objective is to create an environment where innovation can scale because customers can trust it. The conditions for that lending are also improving. For much of the past decade, lending to government paid better, paid faster, and carried less risk than lending to a business. That is now changing. We observe from the bank's monetary figures that net claims on government exceeded claims on private sector. That is more than 20 billion cedis. By June this year, the gap has narrowed to 4 billion. This means that we have access to funding for the private sector. This represents a 34% in real terms, in terms of increments. And the average lending rate had fallen from 27% to 15.6%. The familiar explanation for why credit does not reach Ghanaian business is really expiring. The industry's role is to use that framework to expand opportunity. The greatest constraints on credit today, ladies and gentlemen, is increasingly not liquidity, but information. Alternative data can help extend finance to households and businesses that conventionally underwriting has overlooked for years, but innovation must also be responsible. The measures for success is not how quickly a loan is approved, but whether it strengthens the financial health of the customer. That is the standard by which we intend to measure digital finance in Ghana is really changing. The second priority is how do we turn access into financial health? And that is a very key point that we, as the Bank of Ghana, we are working together with the industry to get to that point. Financial services cannot be designed for an average customer who does not exist. A market trader, a cocoa farmer, a salaried worker, a young entrepreneur do not experience the financial system in the same way, and one product will not serve them all. That is why we have reformed the microfinance sector, replacing a fragmented framework with 4 categories of institutions aligned to customers they serve, supported by a restructured Apex Bank, providing shared platform across. Rural banking is also evolving into community banking, strengthening the delivery of last-mile financial services. We have also built the infrastructure. In June, 6.2 billion cedis moved between competing providers because wallets can now transact seamlessly across the network. Obviously, this is also supported by the active base that I talked about. That is around 566,000 agents in their respective communities, because we cannot have branches across. So these agents indeed are the branches that these transactions go through. Our objective is a dependable national access network, not merely a large one. We are not interested in large networks, but an efficient one. What moves across the network is now the industry's decision. Those same agents can distribute savings, pensions, insurance, responsible credits, not just as cash in, cash out. The bank can license and supervise. It cannot design products for the segments that we intend to financially include. That responsibility sits with us, and I see EcoBank championing this. I think EcoBank deserves a round of applause. The third priority is how do we protect the trust that runs through the system. Digital payment in Ghana today is as good as cash. It settles a debt, closes a sale, and sends money home. That confidence is one of the financial system's greatest achievements, and it rests on trust. Every time a Ghanaian accepts electronic money instead of cash, they rely on a simple promise that that value in their wallet indeed is real. And it goes back to when we started mobile money in the ecosystem. I love telling this story. You find customers depositing cash at one agent, go around the corner, go and check whether they can withdraw it. They were testing trust. That is where MTN came up with this slogan, Mensaka. What the system was trying to do is to ensure that they can take trust through a proper litmus test. And the numbers that I'm talking about is not as a result of any major technology infrastructure, but because that trust has been preserved to date. Every time there's a transaction happening, there's a promise that the funds is fully backed and redeemable on demand. That promise is upheld through effective regulation and supervision. As digital finance grows, so too will standards we expect of it. Growth also brings new risk. Reported fraud cases rose by 48% in 2025, concentrated in payment services. That is why the bank is strengthening supervision of digital financial services, maintaining high licensing standards, strengthening consumer protection, and building shared cyber resilience across the financial sector through a common early warning system with our fellow financial regulators. We are not doing this alone. We will also continue to enforce those standards. Where institutions fall short of what is required to protect consumers and preserve confidence, the bank will act. We have demonstrated that we are prepared to do so when the integrity of the financial system demands it. Innovation must never come at the expense of trusts. We are also deepening digital financial literacy because access without a knowledge to use financial services safely is not true inclusion. But this responsibility does not rest with the bank alone. Every institution that serves customers must also help them understand the products they use and the risks they face. Ultimately, trust is a shared asset. Every institution benefits from public confidence, and every institution has a duty to protect. That is why conduct, security, consumer protection must be treated not simply as a compliance requirement, but as a strategic priority. How do we collaborate to win in this ecosystem? And that is really key because we can't do this alone as regulators. Financial inclusion cannot be delivered by one institution. It requires governments, regulators, financial institutions, fintechs, telcos, development partners, the media, Joy FM, and I think you also deserve a round of applause. And civil society should work together to achieve this common goal. Each has a distinct role, but all shall share in one responsibility to ensure that the financial system that is inclusive and trusted and also resilient is available for Ghanaians. Ghana's financial inclusion strategy, led by the government of Ghana, provides that common framework. The bank is contributing to the strategy alongside our own supervisory work. Our contribution is directed at one goal. That is, the strategy is built around the gaps I mentioned earlier. Not how many accounts are open. We are not interested in quantity, but whether they are used. meaning our focus is in what? Efficiency, active base. Not whether products exist, but whether they fit the people they are meant to serve. Ladies and gentlemen, let me conclude by moving to the next chapter of financial health. The woman I described earlier will have a wallet next year. The money will still move, and our statistics will still look very impressive. I'm sure the next time we meet, we'll be talking about trillions, okay? But the real question is whether her financial life has improved, whether she's building savings rather than simply moving money around, whether she has protection when disaster arrives, whether when she finally stops working, she has something to rely on. The first generation of financial inclusion gave millions of Africans access to the financial system. The next, working together as a team, must help them build security, opportunity, and prosperity within it. That is the future of financial inclusion in Africa's digital economy, and is a feature of Ghana's and our continent to be able to move to the next frontier. I want to use the opportunity to congratulate EcoBank, Multimedia, and all stakeholders for bringing this program together. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Oreku Sari, the head of FinTech and Innovation at the Bank of Ghana. Indeed, that was very insightful speech. Please, a round of applause for him once again. We'll be moving to another session, which is basically the panel session. And the first panel session will be on reaching the unbanked, the digital banking adoption in rural and urban areas. And it will be moderated by my colleague and the host of AM show, Kojo Brace. And also, we'll be the panelists include Mr. William Nana Danso Abiam, and also who is the country head of consumer and commercial banking product at EcoBank PLC. And we'll be having once again Mr. Oreku Sari, the head of FinTech Innovation of the Office of the Bank of Ghana, and Nelson Kwashi Dasegla, the founder and chief solutions architect at COBA. But before we do the panel session, we want to take a short commercial break. When we come back, the next voice you'll be hearing is the voice of Samuel Kojo Brace, who will be taking over the moderation. Please, a round of applause for yourselves as well.
We now need to move on and talk about, something that is of interest to all of us here. And we're looking at reaching the unbanked digital banking adoption in rural and urban areas. And thank you, JoyBusiness, for allowing me to do this, because I'm the boy from the rural area. And very rural, but so I'm glad that I'm going to do this. Joining me here as panel, we have William Nana Danso Abiam, country head, consumer and commercial banking products, EcoBank PLC. Nana, been a long time, but good to have you here again.
Thank you.
We are in your home. Okay, so you are welcome as rather. No, it's not Oreku, sorry. We have Nelson Kwashi Dasegla. Is that correct? Okay. Founder and Chief Solutions Architect of COBA. Thanks for coming as well.
Very much.
Great. We also have here Hayford Kuma, head of, is it Demi? Okay. Head of Demi and PSP Office, FinTech and Innovation Department, Bank of Ghana.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much for coming. Now, we have to do this very briefly. So this one goes to all of you. You give me a minute each, and then we can move on. Now, digital financial services have expanded significantly, and I'm sure we all do know that over the past decade. Yet, millions still remain outside the formal financial system. Today, we ask, what will it take to truly reach the unbanked? Let me start from you.
All right, thank you very much. Yeah, so I do agree with you concerning the fact that there has been expansion in access. And so if we are asked the question about how do we get here, maybe we should just go back a bit and see where we came from. So it took deliberate policy measures, including the implementation of what we call the National Financial Inclusion Development Strategy by the government, including the Digital Financial Services Policy and the Cashlight Agenda of the Bank of Ghana to set the tone somewhere from 2016 to 2020. So since then, we have had mobile money coming in after we introduced branchless banking in 2008, and later on the EMI and agents guidelines in 2015, setting the tone and for the Payment Systems and Services Act 2019, which has served to separate the operations of the mobile money operators from the telecommunication service providers. And just as we heard in the keynote, there has been increase in assets with transactions increasing very high. But to pivot on your question, what will it take? The keynote mentioned one thing. It says the regulator will set the tone, the regulator will provide the guidelines, but the regulator cannot develop the products. And so I will pivot on the need for relevant products. One reason why a watches seller may not be able to receive Momo is because she doesn't want to remove her hands from serving watches to press on her phone and check whether the funds are in. So can we have a solution where instead of a text message or instead of the English language, she's actually receiving a voice prompt saying Sikanatum? Something like that would bring on board the other excluded segment. The other aspect is to do with the when we conduct what we call mobile money agent surveillance. You see that agents are segregated across the country. There is a dense population of agents where there is economic activity, but where there is less economic activity, you don't find a lot of agents. So this will also be a reason why people may not use the digital finance. So that's also another area we need to fix.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. William.
You know, Hayford speaks like a regulator. He just looked at the issue from the regulator's point, and I think he's spot on. Okay. So what I would add to it, I think that it's true. The challenge we have today is not access. Access is not a problem for us in Ghana. A lot has been done. But the challenge is meaningful usage of the platforms that have been provided to ensure that we actually move into financial health, as the keynote speaker spoke about. So in addition to what he spoke about, which is relevant products, and I think that truly our products must be relevant. Relevant in the sense that it meets the lifestyle of the user. So we look, you know, Ghana today, we have 85% when it talks about the informal economy. Yet, most of the products that we design within the financial space are tailored towards the formal structure. So how relevant are the products to majority of the people, right? So the product needs to be relevant. And at EcoBank, we've done a lot in the space, creating light KYC accounts to ensure that you can come in, and when you come, you can actually also transact based on the KYC you provide for us. Our Express account is there. Express Point, which allows us to be able to provide limited skill services to people beyond the branch, is also available for people. We have solutions like the T-bill for all, investment on mobile wallets available for people. So relevant product is key. The next thing I will speak about is stronger collaboration, because this issue of financial inclusion, one party cannot do it. He's a regulator, and he spoke from the point of the regulator. Key player, the banks are there, the mobile money operators are there, the agents are there, the government is there. So there are a lot more people in the space, and we should see how we come together and ensure that we leverage on the strength of each other to provide that meaningful access that we are talking about. So it's also important we look at that. Then last thing possibly I would add to it is that we also need to make, maybe that is even connected to the relevance, you know, of the product. We need to make our processes also quite simplified. And I'm ashamed to speak about this, but I need to talk about it. If you look at Mobile Money Limited, and Shaibu is here, when they started their journey with mobile money, you walk to an agent, you want to do a transaction, you literally have two things to do. You do cash out, the agent will do everything, and when you are done, you approve. When banks came in, we turn it around. The customer would have to do everything, and the agent now confirms that he has received the money and gives it to you. So you realize that the processes that we put in place sometimes are not as user-friendly as they should be. So we should, in addition to providing relevant products, should also ensure that the processes that we put in place, knowing who we are providing the solution for, majority within the informal space, should make the process as simple as possible. So that's what I would add to.
All right. They are all taking more than 1 minute, but well, okay.
Yes, I'll take 5. The remotest place I've been to in Ghana is a place called Asempanaye in the Western North region. It's another 2 hours drive from Sefiroso. And driving there, it felt at a certain point that we were going to Ziguinchor in Senegal because it was so far. But when we got there, there was at least GSM, 3G. There were mobile money agents there. And so it established the fact that money can go down there and money can come back to the center. That has been established, and we are happy that has been done. The next phase of work we need to do to unlock is to be able to move financial services and product, the full cycle, onto the platform to get to Asempanaye. That at Asempanaye, an individual should be able to open a bank account, apply for loans, insurance, even tax returns. These activities are what we can get to actually reactivate from a third to increase to about 75%. Now, I'm saying this because to be able to establish this enables visibility and availability. But we still have a big issue when it comes to accessibility. And accessibility is not the product directly, but some of the requirements that need the users to have accessibility, to access the product. Classic example, an individual, a farmer in Asempanaye, wants to scale up from 2 acres to 20 acres, possibly wants to apply for a loan. Now, a loan to buy a tractor, $50,000, equivalent in cedis. Now, he needs collateral. To be able to get collateral, yes, he may use his land for collateral, but to get the land, he needs land title. Yeah. How does he get it? Possibly has to come all the way to cantonment to be able to access land title. That kills accessibility to start with. So what we need to do to drive now is not mainly financial services and product, but the requirements we need around financial services and product to make it simple, swift, and secure for individuals in the remote areas to be able to access this product. This is how I want to start the conversation.
Okay, all right. So Nelson has already answered the second question, because the second question is to look at financial inclusion and what gaps still exist for us to deal with. And I wanted to come to you, the regulator. So maybe you build on what Nelson said earlier.
Okay.
What gaps still exist in the financial inclusion drive?
Sure. Thank you. So looking at financial inclusion, I think the keynote, as well as William highlighted so much, the fact that what remains is usage. We have dealt so much with when it comes to the access. You talk about the measurement by Ministry of Finance of our National Financial Inclusion Development Strategy. They pegged it at 96% achieved. The World Bank's Findex puts it at around 81.24%. Of course, they have a different methodology. So largely in terms of access, we have done well. The challenge is in the usage, as William said. Maybe just to pivot on that a bit. Someone has access to a wallet, but it's basically cash in and cash out. If we can keep the funds flowing within the ecosystem so that the person is accessing insurance, is accessing savings, is an informal sector worker, and is contributing to pensions, that helps. And the other thing is, we need to consider the regulatory framework. Our regulatory framework, directly pivoting on my brother's point, we have been implementing what we call a balanced and proportionate risk framework, which is to say that we are trying to bring on board as much innovation as possible, but also ensuring that this is safe and sound. So innovation and regulation should not be a tension. Rather, regulation should help to safeguard innovation in a manner that the informal sector worker, the less educated person. We heard about the need for financial literacy and all of those. And people who have decided not to use mobile money anymore because they fear fraud. I mean, if an elite person like our brother Nana Beijing can't be defrauded by mobile money, how much more the common person? And so we need to plug in these gaps, and those has been the work that we've been pivoting on at the central bank.
Okay. William, so if there is any bold initiative that Ghana should implement in reaching the unbanked, in say Kataklo, in Ahanta West, in the next 5 years, what should that be?
Wow. Bold initiative. Okay, so let me look at two. Number one, when Oreku was speaking, he made mention of the need for us to keep educating people. And if you also watch the video, I think it was quite consistent from the customers. They themselves just mentioned that they need to be educated. First, I would go for embedding financial literacy and digital literacy in our curriculum, even at the basic level. And we need to start it from that level. I mean, currently there's a conversation around getting our kids to learn Chinese and all that. I would rather go for financial and digital literacy from that level. That's the first one. The second one I would also put out would be that I think Ghana has done remarkably well with Ghana Card, which today provides that digital identity that enables, financial services to be rolled out. Because once you solve the issue of digital identity or the identity of the person, and you have enough data on the person, you've really done a lot that should allow you to now roll out more products to the person. But I think we can also add to that, and I've heard this before, can we enable a wallet behind Ghana Card?
Okay.
And this thought is, of course, we already have solutions like the Ghana Pay, which we can easily embed and ensure that anybody who has a Ghana Card, once you go through that digital identity journey, we provide you with a wallet to start your life with. And that, connecting that to all the services, the government services that we have, and all the other services that people would need to enjoy, immediately solves the issue of access and provides opportunity for people to also now be financially included. So if you ask me for bold initiatives in the next 5 years, these are two things I'll talk about.
Okay, this should be bold enough. And BOG is listening, and we'll see what they could do. So Nelson, let's look at the fintechs and the opportunities that exist that fintechs can also take advantage of and reach the unbanked, as we are talking about.
To start with the bold initiatives, I think one of the things I would like to see is a one-stop shop that brings together all the points that I raised, where in there we can do quick due diligence, appraisal, KYC, that also links the government agencies, and we need to do this in collaboration with all the government agencies. It's not a Bank of Ghana or single regulator requirement, something we need to do with all agencies to make sure that at one go, an individual can see everything associated. And I like the idea of the Ghana Card, which is a starting point, but how do we link all other services to the Ghana Card? The other bit for me, which should be bold, is for us to take, yes, the global standards for money laundering and all those kind of, but also adopt them to our local and traditional ways of getting things, because it's not everything that is global standard that we enjoy in Asampanaye. The chiefs, the opinion leaders also have some level of KYCs that we can actually adopt and standardize. So then it makes it easy for access to financial services and products for individuals there. Otherwise, we'll be talking Accra and still be leaving the guys behind. These are two areas that I want to see. And this creates opportunities for fintechs, because for things that I've said, how can we innovate a quick land verification system? How can we innovate a quick, we've done the loan approval system, so virtually everything has been done, a quick tax return system. Okay. So somebody anywhere can quickly go into systems, bring GRA on board, get it closer to what we've done with technology and banking and finance, so we can easily have those in the rural areas also quickly getting onto getting financially included.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. BOG, Ray, what must we expect in the next 5 years? Bold initiatives from the BOG in trying to build on the suggestions that have come here for us to reach the unbanked.
All right. Thank you. Asking your question after you have after you received the bold initiatives from them puts us on the spot. But one bold initiative we are expecting from the central bank is the open banking framework, which is coming up. And this is critical because if we are talking about the usage, to enhance usage, it will depend on the extent to which I can access various services. And so data is now the new gold. If one institution has my data, and is not willing to give me the services that I want, and another institution can receive that data and based on that create a product for me, then that moves me closer into financial health.
Okay.
So
you call it
open banking, as well as the broader term is open finance, where you have, whether it's mobile money, it's insurance, whether it's pension, or even the banks across the various banks, you have a certain platform that enables you to just, with consent, an institution can get your data, and then based on that, they can serve your needs.
Okay. I guess one thing that we think the Momo could also do is to enhance network, coverage in this, because as Mpane, I don't know how the network there is like, but in Agunan Konta, just that, yes, person can Jesus, so in Agunan Konta, for example, where I spend most of my weekends, network there is terrible. It affects a lot of the things. So maybe the telcos can also look at how they could enhance network connectivity so that we can enjoy fintech services wherever we will be. But that's how we wrap it up here. Just before maybe your concluding remarks each, and then I can hand it over to the main host. Let me start with you, Ray.
Thank you. So my concluding remarks would just be that collaboration is key. Concerning network connectivity and so on, it is not the mandate of the Bank of Ghana, neither is it the responsibility of the DEMI, but we are required to have a close collaboration with other regulators. So Bank of Ghana collaborates with NCA, we collaborate with Data Protection Commission, we collaborate with Cybersecurity Authority, as well as our other regular collaborators, which is the fintechs themselves and the banks. So what is needed is for this collaboration to lead to fashioning out avenues where we resolve problems without necessarily pointing fingers as to whether this is coming from this institution or this coming from the other institution. So collaboration will be very key. Thank you.
Thank you. William.
My comment would be around building and sustaining trust within the system. I think that, yes, we'll build infrastructure, it will create more access, and we would need to ensure that people trust the system, because I feel that one of, if not the single biggest challenge today, is how well people trust the system that we've built. And I like the way Riku explained Mensaka. I never thought it, about it that way. But truly, that's what it is. If people can trust the system, they can use the system. So we need to work out, make it more simple. If it's more complex, it tends to mean that you are hiding something. So we need to make sure it's more simple. We need to make sure that even if, when we have fees and other things, how do we manage it such that it doesn't keep people out of the space? And continuous education to give people that kind of assurance within the space that is where we are going, and you are safe once you are in that space. So trust, I think it's key and something that I want to leave us with.
Thank you. Nelson, briefly.
Well, I think we all here trying to find how we can provide simple, simplified, swift financial products and services to our consumers. Let's collaborate. I believe we can, for what we've done over the years, I believe we can get this done, and we just need to work together to get it achieved. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So that's Nelson Koshi Dasegla. He is founder and chief solutions architect at Corba. You also heard from William Nana Danso Abiam, country head, consumer and commercial banking product, EcoBank PLC, and also Hayford Kuma. He is head of DEMI and PSP Office FinTech and Innovation Department, BOG. My name is Samuel Kojo Brace. I hand over to my friend Will Winston for him to continue.
Thank you very much, Kojo Brace. A round of applause for them, please. The next section will be on mobile money, agency banking, and digital payment. And for that, we will be having the CEO of Mobile Money FinTech Limited, Mr. Shaibu Haruna, to join us on the podium. Please, a round of applause for him. Also, the Chief Business Officer for Ghana, for GIPS, Mrs. Akosia Blay. Please kindly join us. Followed by Madame Jacqueline Duffier Mpare. Director for Pan-African Savings and Loans. And we will be speaking basically on mobile money, agency banking, and digital payment. Ladies and gentlemen, my panelists, and also as we go straight to the initial conversation, I'd like to first of all hear from Mr. Shaibu. We've seen arguably mobile money has been one of the greatest in terms of impact and successfully ensuring financial inclusion story of Ghana is heard globally. We want to understand what has driven your success and what lessons can the wider financial market learn.
Thank you very much, and good morning, everyone. I just want to start off by acknowledging EcoBank and Joy FM for putting this together. Very well done. Thank you very much. Now, I think everybody has a mobile money story, right? And I think this morning we've heard Oreku's version of the mobile money story and good insights from those days, 2009. But I think what the story of mobile money says about us is a story around how we have taken a view of an inclusive approach towards digital finance, bringing on board all the banking partners, bringing on board the fintech community, and the very nature of the regulatory framework that we have in Ghana supporting that evolution and creating almost like a platform for us to be able to collaborate. You know, today, what we've built is just gone beyond bringing people into the ecosystem. And I think the numbers, the statistics have been shared this morning in terms of the inclusion statistics. But I like the discussion and where we are pivoting on, which is around how do we drive financial health or financial well-being of our people. And that's what we are driving today. And if you look at what we are building today, we are not only driving transactions, but we are actually building solutions that addresses the needs of our customers. Today, what we have built is building a platform where consumers can access pension, can access loan products, can access, you can name it, buy investment instruments. These are available. I think what we haven't done very well is to get people to use it and give us feedback to improve the experience around the usage. So the mobile money story is one which says participate, ensure that the ecosystem is involved in your evolution, get customers engaged on the products, and address their needs. What are their pain points? Address it, but also give them the confidence to use the service every day and come back to you. And of course, the regulatory framework has also been quite evolving in making sure that our ecosystem works and our customers trust in the service. Of course, we have to work on the trust bit, but I was sharing a small story around trust, and I was saying that this trust thing is a global phenomenon. Just last week, I personally had an experience around scamming, and it involved booking a hotel online.
So scammers are not even afraid of the whole CEO.
No, I'm coming. So I got somebody to book a hotel in Glasgow. We went there, and there was a no-show. The scammer somehow scammed the person to make payments, and they made payment through one of these digital banking solutions, Monzo, and that is not a Monzo problem, right? It is the individual who made the booking to verify and validate where they are booking and ensure that it's actually an existing hotel that they can go to, check out the reviews, and ensure that you are safe wherever you are going. So there is a responsibility for the financial service operator to ensure that customers are educated, but the customer also has a responsibility to ensure that they are transacting in a very safe environment, because the digital environment presents an opportunity for both genuine businesses to have access and reach, but also it provides a platform for scammers to also come into the ecosystem to prey on our customers.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shaibu. Now, I want to understand, especially when it comes to interoperability, which I would like to hear from Madam Akosua-Blay. Now, how has this transformed Ghana's digital payment? What more needs to be done per your assessment?
Thank you. Good morning to your guest audience, and thank you to EcoBank and Joy FM for putting this together. So at GIBS, we are the institution in charge of the infrastructure. So we drive the rails on which mobile money interoperability transactions are done. We are the institution in charge of the GIP, which is the instant payment solution. And what we have done at GIBS is to provide a switch where all the players can connect to one rail. So what it is that if you're an entity, a PSP, a bank, a DEMI, you don't need to have one-on-one integrations with other stakeholders. All you need is one connection to the instant rail at GIBS, and you are connected to multiple stakeholders. So we have the rural banks on board, we have the PSPs, we have mobile money operators on board, and we have the banks as well on board. With one connection, you are connected to all the ecosystem players. And with this, you have expanded accessibility through one channel. Now, connecting through the GIBS rails is important because it actually reduces the cost that you pass on to your customers. Once you are connected to one rail, you don't have to maintain several rails to be able to provide the same service, rather than connecting to the GIBS platform. And when Oriko was speaking, he spoke about trust. So at GIBS, one of the things we talk about a lot is having a trusted system which is available all the time, robust infrastructure. We are also on the lookout for the cybersecurity threats and all the fraud threats that take place in the industry to make sure that we provide that trust that our ecosystem needs for financial inclusion and financial health of the customer. So at GIBS, this is what we have done.
Amazing. So once GIBS pulls the plug, every financial architecture comes down.
And that is why we don't pull the plug. We are reliable, available 24/7, 365 days in a year.
Amazing. Please, a round of applause for it. And now we want to come to one institution that basically works on that architecture, which is the savings and loans. Now, which I'm going to hear from Madam Jacqueline. Savings and loans institutions play a critical role in serving the SME sector and basically the underserved communities, which is one of the key themes under today's conversation. Now, how has digital finance changed the way you interact with your customers?
For savings and loans, I was talking to Shaibu about the fact that we're a high touch and we actually nurture the relationships. We go into the markets, but there's a limitation because you're not able to scale. How many feet on street can we have? How many markets can we access? So digital has really enhanced the way we do business to be able to reach more people. But then, so now we're able to open accounts. We're working with a lot of farmers. We do a lot in agric. So we go out there into the farms and we're able to open accounts for them. We're able to profile these customers and reduce the turnaround time for the loan process. But with the conversations that are happening, there's a theme that keeps resonating. The fact that we need to collaborate and educate the people that we serve and to make sure that it is beyond the transactions. So for us, digital finance has improved our turnaround time, has given us reach, but there's still more to do because we deal with the masses. SMEs can be profiled better now. There's alternative data that allows us to be able to give them loans. And I'll also say that digital has helped us to be able to manage our credit risk to an extent. And when William talked about some of the bold initiatives, I really like the Ghana card conversation, because for us, everybody knows our interest rates are high. And it's because we deal with SMEs, some of them are not registered, and because it's higher risk. But for us to be able to give them very good interest rates, make it more inclusive so that they build the enterprises that Oreko talked about, we need to be able to profile them better. So if it's Ghana card and there's a card, there's an account behind that, we'll be able to go to the credit bureau and find who is borrowing from everywhere. We have serious NPL issues. So this is something that we're passionate about. So basically, it has helped us to be able to scale our business, profile our customers better customer relationship, but there's still more to be done. Thank you.
I wish we could extend this conversation, but I would like to take a closer remarks from my panelists before we move to the next session. Now, Jacqueline, 2026, what is your expectation? How do you intend to close the year? So far, we're in the middle of the year. We've heard from the finance minister's budgets, but from your sector perspective.
For 2026, we want to close the year on a very strong note. Again, it is scale. We've seen very innovative initiatives. We have seen the fall of interest rates, which is good for the customer. But we've all talked about the customer and trust. But the financial institutions also have trust issues. Because interest rates are falling, we want to be able to give our customers access to finance. We want to be able to finance their businesses, but trust. So for 2026, if we're able to collaborate some more with fintech, mobile money, collaborate with Shaibu, for example, we'll be able to scale the business that we're doing. It's not only about the financial institution being able to have sustainable profitability, but also impact and transform the lives of the SMEs that we're working with.
Thank you very much. Now, inclusively, we've seen GIBS operation over the years and seeing the successes that has come up in terms of the establishments of GIBS, bringing all the players within the fintech industry. What are some of the eminent challenges that has come to your table, most importantly, in 2026?
Thank you. So for us, one thing we see a lot is network challenges. Not necessarily from the center, but we have over 70 participants on the platform. So today you see one network down here, another network down there, and that's been one significant challenge we see there. When it comes to collaboration also, I think for us, we don't see that. So we still have pockets of fragmented, closed, looped payment systems all scattered around. And that's also a major challenge. If we could have everyone at the center, I guess we would innovate better, collaborate better, and provide better services to the financial services industry.
And in the engagement with the private sector?
Pardon me?
How about the engagement with private sector players?
Yes, private sector is involved here, government is involved, central bank as well, are all key stakeholders in this conversation. The private sector is key. We have GHQR, which recently MMFL launched the Ride with Momo, and that was done with the transport industry. These are private individuals who ride Pragya, and they are accepting GHQR. And once you are a customer enabled, you don't necessarily have to be an MMFL customer. Once you are a customer enabled by a bank, a savings, a loan, a PSP, whatever, you can take part in this promo and be a winner as well. And these are the collaborations we want to see in the private sector as well.
Wonderful. I'll come back to you shortly on the Ghana Pay aspect. Now, Mr. Rona, interesting enough, I was at an event when Mobile Money Fintech Limited, in collaboration with People's Pension Fund, really launched the pension scheme on the Momo app. And interesting enough, the kinds of offers that came out, and I saw a lot of products on your site. I want to understand, basically, in not just the financial aspect, but the pension aspect, what is the whole vision for Momo in that direction?
Thank you very much. I think our vision is a very simple one and a very clear one. We just want to provide our customers with access to financial services. So partner with all ecosystem regulated entities to be able to enable the services our customers want. So the pension example is one of such example. There are many more pension products currently on our platform, which is accessible to hundreds of thousands of Ghanaians today who are actually in that space. And even for some of us who already have existing pensions, you can actually do a top-up of your pension through this channel. Again, we also recently launched a service which speaks to investment, partnering with the key investment houses to bring investment products within arm's reach of our customers. So for us, it's about access, it's about convenience. But what we want to also do beyond that is also to really get connected with customers to expose them to these services, because we've built a number of services, but the adoption rate remains slow, and that translates into the financial well-being that we are talking about. And also, when it comes to services, you realize that we've built solutions that speaks to a mass audience or customers. But what we are trying to do now is to begin to identify specific areas where there is friction and address that with either our existing solutions or new services that we're able to unleash onto the market. And one clear example is a Drive with Momo campaign, which is a campaign we're riding in partnership with Gibbs to offer convenience. I mean, what we're trying to solve there is not a new solution, but adding on the GHQR to allow customers to seamlessly pay for journeys like transport journeys, because it's one of the difficult areas to crack in terms of digitizing, and we're trying to use this experimentation to see whether we're able to unlock that. And we're doing that with the digital ride-hailing services as well. So these are small pockets of areas where we are doubled down on to ensure that we're able to solve for those areas. And it speaks to the point around inclusion. Now, yes, we've achieved a lot of scale from an inclusion point of view, but there are pockets where there are still gaps where we can fulfill. Think about it, the transport sector, Trotro, how can we solve for Trotro? And consider the millions of Trotro journeys that are happening every single day. If we can translate that into digital payment opportunities, that would be a massive one for the entire ecosystem and bring a lot more people into the financial rail. So we are building it slowly and organically, but the vision is very clear. Anywhere that there is cash, we want to have a slice of that area, and we want people, our customers, to experience a more seamless payment experience and lifestyle experience, really.
Indeed, anywhere there's cash, you want a slice. Whilst you are cutting your slice, someone will also be cutting underneath that slice, and which are basically the frosters. Briefly, what structure have you put in place as viewers are watching us to protect people's savings, investment products, and is there any feedback channel that they should be looking for it?
Absolutely. I mean, the very foundation of the service we offer is built around trust, and that we do not take for granted. So trust starts first with your platform resilience, being able to have a platform that is able to support the millions of transactions that takes place every single day on the platform. Let me just throw some statistics. On average, we process around 26 million transactions every single day. And each of these transaction is actually a promise to our customers to say the funds is flowing and you expect it to be where it's supposed to be and facilitate the ecosystem. So we invest and continuously invest in the platform to ensure that we're able to safeguard customers' value, and that we don't take for granted. Now, beyond the platform security and all the layers of cybersecurity elements that we put on top of it, there is also the bit around the user journey and experience, and that is where the most vulnerability sits, right? And I gave you a personal account. The responsibility for financial safety is a joint one, which is us and the customer. If there's a break in that chain, then fraud becomes, pervasive. But we continue to invest in that area in terms of supporting customer engagement, customer education. But over and above that, it's also the fact that there's a body of work that we're doing from an industry point of view to also ensure that it's more collaborative, because it's not just a single platform issue. It affects everybody in the ecosystem. So how do we ensure that we block all the gaps that we see around the whole ecosystem? So there's a lot of work to be done. And what I can say for a fact is that we are very committed as a leading player within this space to work with the industry to ensure that we deal with this canker.
Indeed, we'll deal with this canker. And I've had the privilege of having this morning here with me the front, which is basically the savings and loans, the architecture, the GIPS, and also the players, Mobile Money Fintech Limited. Please, a round of applause for my panelists. I had the privilege of having Mr. Shaibu Haruna, CEO of Mobile Money Fintech Limited, and Mrs. Akosia Blay, Chief Business Officer with GIPS, and also Jacqueline Dufie-Mpori, Managing Director for Pan-African Savings and Loans. Gentlemen and ladies, thank you so much. Wonderful. Please, a round of applause for them. Yes. Now we go to the last panel session, which will be handled by Samuel Kujubrace, and this will literally be on a different session.
All right, thank you very much, Winston. So to help us do this discussion, let's welcome Jake Franz. He is lead for Cybersecurity Technology Standards, Cybersecurity Authority. Thank you, sir. Let's welcome Dr. Martin Nana Annan, Cybersecurity, AI, and Infosystems Experts. Dr. Annan. Okay. Oh, his applause is too low. And then Daniel S. Klu, Director, Information Security, Bank of Ghana. Okay. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Winston said earlier that at the core of all of this is about fraud, right? We're trying to build trust in the digital system, but other people will also try to deal and have their own way around it. How do we deal with that? And that's my opening question to all of you, a minute each. How do we deal with the way people are always trying to go around the system when we are trying to motivate people, encourage people to get into the digital framework? Other people are also dealing with them. Nana was defrauded. If he could be, anyone else can. How do we deal with it?
Thank you very much, and good morning to all of you. I think we are already on the road to try and curb this problem. The Cybersecurity Act 2020, Act 1030 is here. And we've tried our best to rope in all the major players, not only from the financial sector, but from the energy sector, health, you name it. There's been very good cooperation between academia and the Bank of Ghana and its players, which will be all the financial institutions. And because the Act is here, there are certain things everybody's mandated to do. It's a collective thing. If we all adhere to all the processes, policies that CSA has set out, then we'll have a much holistic environment, because it will be very difficult to breach somebody and cross over into another industry. Okay. The whole landscape needs to move on the same page. And so far, I think there's been very good cooperation between CSA the financial institutions, and the telcos. Fortunately, we don't have any telcos here. I don't see them in here. But they've done a good job in trying to protect the network, whilst everybody who is connected to the network, because you need the network to move the traffic, whoever is connected to the network would make sure that their environment is also as secure as much as possible. If somebody tries to defraud me through my financial institution to BOG, I believe if I wanted to send some money out of the country, the SWIFT system is run by BOG. So if my financial institution is as secure as can be, it will be very difficult to send the money out. That's just between the two entities. BOG is the sector head. They regulate the financial industries. But if that framework, that secure framework is out there between all the financial institutions, it's going to be very difficult. If we come to Momo, if the telco network and the other Momo channels that they have in place are as secure as can be, because we are all operating on the same network or the same framework, it's going to be very difficult. Today you have a couple of gaps. And so far, between the Momo industry and CSA and the financial institutions, we're trying to block all those gaps as much as possible.
Okay, all right. So trying to block the gaps. Yes.
Yeah, thank you. And to take up from where he ended, he touched on the technical aspect. I believe my other colleague will look at the policy aspect. Let him look at the general public consideration when it comes to this fraud issue. And I think the underlying factor, beginning with, is what we are doing today. That is creating the awareness, letting the people come to the realization that these things exist, they are real, but however, there are solutions to it. There are ways to go around it that you will be safe. When we tackle from that perspective, and the technical people also strengthen their backbone in terms of infrastructure security, and the regulation is also looking at ensuring safe use of the technology, then we'll be getting somewhere. So for the ordinary Ghanaian, awareness is key. And sometimes we think that when we are in Accra, we are hearing some adverts here and there. You think that people know of it. It's not true.
Okay.
Even within Accra, you will find people who have no idea what is happening. And that is how every day you get people, because I believe we'll be getting that there's always the complexity when it comes to the way they scam people. And therefore, you must also intensify your education, the awareness, said that always your citizens are up to speed with what they have to do when it comes to being aware, when it comes to...
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. So from our side, what we believe should be done is to strengthen the regulatory frameworks, right? From the Bank of Ghana's end, we have operationalized the Act 2020, Cybersecurity Act, and we have provided a directive to the industry. It's not just about providing directive, but then what are the things the banks and the regulated financial institutions need to put in place to ensure strong security, right? And those things are passed through to the institutions through the directives. We, this time, have not left the institutions to just comply with the directives, right? We have intensified our collaborations with them. The last time we issued a directive in 2018, what we did was we gave directives to the industry and then we expected them to comply. We went on to supervise and check on how they are complying. This time in March 2020, we have improved on the directive and we have brought in place strong pillars to meet current challenges in the cyber and information security arena. We have moved on to work with them to create implementation guidelines, so that we ensure that the implementation is uniform across board. We have not left, the conversation has always been on banks, no. If you take example Momo, Customers are linking their Momo accounts to their bank accounts, all right? Should you leave the conversation around only banks? No. So we have brought on board all the other regulated financial institutions and even other players in the financial industry. Take the NPRAs, SICs, and NICs, right, to ensure that the financial industry is collectively protected, not in silos. And that is the thing we are doing to ensure that we have strong protection across board. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Let me bring you in, Mr. Franz. Now, a lot more financial services or products are moving online. I don't remember the last time I went to my bank to withdraw. You do that on the phone. But in that space, what is the biggest cybersecurity threat confronting online banking in Ghana?
I think ignorance, for one. I believe from the user's perspective, it's ignorance and then lack of awareness. I believe Mr. Klue touched a little bit on that. And then there's the normal flow of digital fraud out there, from SIM swapping, from AI cloud-based masquerading of transactions or responses to social engineering techniques that the fraudsters use, either on the customers or even on the financial institutions. And these days you see a lot of cloud-based attacks on some of the online companies. So you have a company that is set up, doesn't have the right security architecture, and all of a sudden people start defrauding them. Once they defraud the online store or the online transaction enabler, everybody who jumps onto that platform is at risk. I think in that vein, one of the things we need to do collectively is to make sure that every online platform that comes on board in Ghana is well vetted, and we have to ensure that their security architecture is in place, because otherwise anybody who gets on that website is going to be defrauded.
So, I mean, is it only for the companies? Because sometimes you are there, they will send you instructions as to what to do and what not to do. But the consumer, what must we do beyond the education?
I think beyond the education, it's all about awareness, really, because we can't. You can't force somebody to the well and let them drink. So if they decide they don't want to take the directives either from somebody like BOG or their financial institutions, or even CSA, because we put out a lot of awareness information out there. If the individuals don't take those awareness instructions or directives seriously, then definitely they will be at risk. Because at some point in time, they are going to jump on some of these websites, whether to order something or, as Mr. Shaibu said, book a ticket. So if they haven't read or have ignored some of these directives, obviously, they're going to be a victim, no matter what they do, because they haven't listened to some of the awareness sessions out there. And so, to me, the awareness session is a 365, 24-hour session for all users on any platform. They have to ensure that they are constantly listening, they are constantly aware. And if they get directives from their banks or the central bank or CSA, they have to take them seriously. Because obviously, between the three of us, we've seen that. That is why we put in these directives out there, including even their own telco networks.
All right. Let me bring in Doc here. Doc, so, I mean, where does AI come in here?
Great. So, let me say that, first of all, by establishing this, that artificial intelligence fundamentally alters digital finance by shifting from reactive defense to predictive real-time automation. Now, one of the technologies in human life which has really moved so fast is the information technology. However, when we got to the digitalization space, when cyber crime was prevalent, it has slowed down the advancement of this technology in enhancing the lives of the people because of cybercrime. Therefore, AI now becomes the only way to leverage and counter cybercrime, because these criminals are using sophisticated algorithms that is difficult for the human to comprehend and also counter. But with the use of AI, where we also leverage machine learning and other sophisticated algorithms to also counter the attackers. A typical example now, the same AI is helping these criminals with new weapon tools. So for example, malware, we have what we call polymorphic malware. The malware they will send traditionally will go through the process as it started. But now with AI, the malware will begin to mutate. As it's going through the system, it is changing its behavior in the system. So it renders antiviruses useless. Okay. Which means that you also require an AI tool that will be able to detect the mutating nature of the malware, which now the antivirus, your normal antivirus, cannot handle. That is where now AI comes in, using large language models to also model something higher than what the attacker is. So we have defensive AI and attacker AI. Okay. The two all are working together. They are all from the same lab, if I will put it that way, because it is software we are dealing with. So if I develop a system, another person also look at the loopholes in my system and then take advantage of it. What is now making things easy for this criminal is the use of AI. We should also leverage the same AI to counter them. Okay. And importantly, now with voice cloning and video cloning, it is important that we also ensure that we have strong architecture. The regulatory framework ensures that we have a level playing field. Then we also remove ambiguity when it comes into when something goes wrong.
So from that, do you see our companies doing much in that regard?
I would say to the best of our capability now. Because if you even look at the origin of mobile money, which has now gone into mobile banking and all that, it is the only technology when it comes to telecommunication and the serendipity when it comes to now we realizing that we can use these mobile devices to do money transaction. It originated from Africa, for that matter, East Africa. It is our own. And therefore, it is technology that is indigenous, and therefore, from within us, we have built several technologies on it, and we have gotten to this point, and we are doing this discussion. I believe that the stakeholders have done a lot, and they are still doing it. And engagement like this will also give a certain realization that will open us up to new ideas and new ways of handling these things. And by so doing and coming together, collaborating, we'll be able to now tackle the root of the problem. And I would say that anytime you are thinking of a digital product, make sure that you are also thinking of how you secure it. The moment you conceive it, begin thinking about its security. Other than that, that product will get shot before you get to know, because we are having that issue when it comes to e-commerce in Africa and in Ghana. E-commerce is supposed to now help us move from the physical market into the digital space, making it easy for people to now do business at a lesser cost. But because of criminals, it is rather slowing down its expansion.
Okay.
And we have to look at that. And the only way to handle some of these things without human interference is leveraging AI. So it comes back to now leveraging on what the academians can also do in terms of the models.
Okay.
The models of the that we can use. When they develop quality AI models, then the industry can also use it and then ensure that their systems can automatically identify some of these things and calm it down.
Let me bring in Mr. Clue here. Mr. Clue, so we're just wrapping up. What would be that recommendation that you would say can have that greatest impact on cybersecurity and in turn improve the trust that we will have in online digital banking services?
Okay, thank you very much. So trust, as you said, is not something you can touch and feel. It's a feeling, right? The thing that makes me take my phone and send money to my child's school, and I have the trust that it will get to them, right? Because you cannot touch and feel, you have to go extra mile. You have to do a lot of things for people to have that feeling, you know. So it's about strengthening security across board. Again, from the Bank of Ghana's end, we are not thinking about strengthening security of big corporations and big banks. No. The little institutions that support the people we don't see day to day in the rural areas and all that, right? We need to think about them. We need to put in place infrastructure that, you know, is so trusted by itself that when people go on that infrastructure to use, they would trust that the results that they are looking for, they will get the results, right? There should be collaboration. If one institution take its own infrastructure that it has built or its resilience and ride on it, mind you, no system is independent, right? Your system is relying on other systems to take input and then feeding other systems with output. So it means we have to work collaboratively for that trust to be trusted, right? Because it's not something you can see. So all the systems we put in place, all the engagements we do, all the training, all the awareness, all the you know, implementing directives and cybersecurity authority acts and all that. We need to do it well in a manner that people will start feeling that, look, with all these things I see around me, if I go online to do a transaction, I can trust that that transaction would get the results that I'm looking for. Okay. Right? So it's doing best all the things that we put in place for the customers and the people who use the systems to feel the trust. Because you cannot tell someone this is trust. No. Okay. It is what I feel when I use your system. That is the trust. Okay. So do the thing, what you are putting in place for me to use your system so good that I would feel that I can trust to use the system. Okay. Thank you. And it's collaboration. Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Glenn, I'm grateful to you. Jake and Doc, maybe you both have one recommendation each, if there's any. Doc, let me start with you, if you have any recommendation on how.
Okay, so let me start with when it comes to.
But let it be brief because of time.
Developing products. One of the ways that you also help prevent attackers or safeguard your consumers is the ease of use of the product or the system. So developers must be coached on what we call perceived ease of use and perceived use. And when the perceived ease of use is there, then the perceived usefulness will now let the users use the system. Okay. Now, when that is there, what happens is that the interest makes them glue themselves to the product set that they are careful anytime they are using the product. And because they see much usefulness in it, they do not allow themselves to be played around when it comes to that. So that is key. Then we must, leveraging AI, implement interoperable, decentralized, zero knowledge proof security. Now, the zero knowledge proof security is where I'm able to prove that I am so and so, I qualified this without disclosing anything about me. And that is where the Ghana card becomes important. And when I go to the bank or anywhere, I should be able to prove to the teller that I'm that person without disclosing anything from my card. And that is important.
Thank you very much. Jake France.
I think one of the biggest things we can do is establish or build a single wide platform, threat intelligence platform for all players, which means we have one for the financial sector, energy sector, you name it, of which CSA will be part of, so that we can all see the attacks coming through. The reason for that is it makes everything very transparent, as opposed to, for example, the Act today, we need to create sectoral sets. So for the example for the financial sector, Bank of Ghana will be in charge, and then you have other financial sectors underneath them. For the energy, Ministry of Energy will have their sector, and then all the agencies would be under them, ACG and so on. Now, if you had one threat intelligence platform across the board where we all participated, it makes it very transparent. It allows everybody to see all the vectors coming in, and we can deal with it as such. If CSA doesn't have the capability to address one vector that comes in, which is unique to the Energy Department, the Energy Department can stop it and say, hey, guys, everybody on the platform, this is what I've seen. Please take a look at it. To piggyback on the AI piece of it, it also needs to be AI enhanced. I'm sure we all heard of the AI that went rogue this week. Now, if you look at the general statistics about how that MML model was designed, it didn't do anything wrong because there was no security framework in there to stop it. It was asked to do ABCD. It couldn't do ABCD. It went out and roamed the world and found ABCD. Unfortunately, it was in your account. So it found a way to get into your account, brought the ABCD out and brought it back because there was no security framework. So to Mr. Klu's problem, we need to have, for example, the threat intelligence system. It needs to be fully backed with AI-based security. That way it can't go rogue. Because at this point in time, all the AI models out there can do anything they want because they don't have any proper security framework around it. That is why I'll leave this last thing. If you are fond of using AI to do your work, please leave out your company name. Leave out the company name in your searches. Personally, you can do what you want, but leave out the company name in your searches, because the moment you put it there, the tool is smart enough to gather all that stuff, aggregate it, and start figuring out how things work. We've tried it. We've tested it with some companies where we said, what are you working on? And they said, we're working on this project. We said, okay, tell us a little bit about it. They said, no, it's private. We just went online and typed in 3 keywords, and everything they are working on came on, because at one point in time, or at some point in time, somebody had gone in there to do a research to complete that work. So I would advise all of you to please stop using your company name, acronyms in searches to do your work. Find a better way, because the moment you type in anything resembling or close to what you do, the AI is smart enough to aggregate all that stuff.
That's a very vital information coming from Jake France. Then he's lead for Cybersecurity Technology Standards, Cybersecurity Authority. We also had Dr. Martin Nana Annan, Cybersecurity, AI and Infosystems expert, and Mr. Daniel S. Klu, CISO, Director, Information Security, Bank of Ghana. Now we throw it back to you. You have questions, you have some answers. Let's hear from you. If you have a question, you raise your hand, we'll bring you the microphone, and then we can hear from you. Okay, to my beautiful woman here. Where is Winston? Okay, let's have the microphone to our beautiful woman to ask her question. And your question can be directed to any of our speakers earlier, and then they will answer.
That's why Regina's laughing. Okay. So if you've already put your company name in AI, what do you do at this point?
Okay, all right.
I saw the expression. People were like, we are too late.
Exactly, we're too late. Exactly, we're just too late. So you will have to be very careful going forward, because it's gone. You can't get it back. You can't delete it.
Okay, so just be careful not to repeat the name again, right? Exactly. Going forward. All right. I think a follow-up then.
Sorry to just stay on that point, but then can you just go for begin to misinform the AI so that it can actually be misjudged?
Actually, you can also do that, because it's a machine learning language, so it's going to start learning that. And if I ask it a question, it's now going to give me the two responses and say, for now, this is what I know. And you can make your decision going forward.
Okay. Any further question? There is one. Okay.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. So this is not a question to you directly, but it's something that I've been thinking about and I've been reading online, and it's things around agentic payments. So I want to find out if it's something that has been thought of, and maybe whether implementation is going to be possible here in our environment, because I've seen from the Western side trying how it will work in whatever payment that they are trying to do. So for example, if it's somebody's item that you want to purchase online, it could be WhatsApp, Facebook, anywhere. And how can we be able to implement? So first thing is it possible to be implemented here in our environment? If yes, how are we going to go about it? And also putting into consideration the security aspect of things, because right now in the agentic and machine learning kind of space, right now the conversation is how do we secure our agent? And since we want to put this in a financial sector, how are we going to go about that framework from ideation to execution? Thank you.
A very loaded question. Yes. Who will go first for us?
Okay, so yeah, to answer your question, let me just add something to the AI, the company's name that has gone already. If it is that serious, then we can also develop a poisoning algorithm to do that, and that can be expensive. So if that's serious that we need to take the company name, then we will develop a poisoning algorithm to do that. The hackers use a lot of poisoning algorithm, a lot. So that can be done, but if it's trivial, you don't go spending that money. But if it is something serious that borders on security, then we have to now activate modelers to develop the poisoning algorithm to poison the AI. When we poison it, then we can diffuse it. That is by the way. Yeah. Yes. Okay. So to your question, yes, I think if I got you right, looking at how a lot of product, die out before they even get to the market because they have weak security. Because the product said that just an amateur hacker can just kill it before. Yes. And how do they kill it? For example, if mobile money had not been resilient, it would have been killed by the hackers one time. There are several e-commerce platforms that are not functioning anymore because hackers have just killed it. And also, one of the ways, if you are a starter, you are coming, make sure you stick to simplicity. If you go and use complex names, it is easy to manipulate it and you will not know. For example, I'm just using this as an example. let him just use EcoBank. EcoBank. Now, the Echo, the C, he can make it a small E. If you are not careful, you will not see. Or there's O, you add another O to it. You will not see. Are you getting it? But this is simple. This one is simple. But some people have complex domain names. Keep it simple so that the more you see it, you can tell whether something has gone wrong. But if it is that lengthy, when they manipulate it, becomes difficult for you to see. And again, anytime you click on a domain, check whether the redirection is linking to a real name, domain name. That domain is going to its page or something. The moment you see that it is redirecting you to another thing altogether, you've gone to EcoBank website, you click on opening account, and you see that it's opening some onion, that is that deep website, this thing, something you cannot pronounce, some gibberish kind of thing. Be careful. So that is also important. So from your ideas.